And done. The plot button has been fixed.
You just slapped some duct tape on it and called it a day.
The main thing is, all's well that ends well. Well, minus the
Sorry, what?
the rampant superheroes running about.
Satsu.
I know, but hey, maybe it won't be that bad. Look, there's Spider-Man.
Well, that happened.
And look, it's Captain America.
Well, that happened.
And there's the X-Men.
Couldn't get the licensing rights, could you?
Maybe. Hey, is that the Hulk?
Hulk smash!
Ow! Oh gosh! Oh no, please! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Welcome to Marvel Month.
Oh God. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Marvel Month. My name is Satsunami and joining me today is none other than the resident Marvel expert himself. It is Andrew. Andrew, welcome back.
You say resident expert for me for a lot of things. I don't think I'm an expert in any of these.
Well, you're not?
No, I think you got the wrong guy.
Oh, Jesus.
Should I leave?
Your name's not Andrew Adam, is it? No. Oh no, I'm going to make some phone calls. I'll be right back. Oh dear. I love that in the intros, by the way. It's at the end of every single one.
The really terrible Marvel intro that I do.
Well, we both do. It's a please, it's a duo. It's because every time I edit episodes for this month, I was just like, you know what would be really funny? See, instead of just stealing a clip from the music and being like, yeah, let's make it sound cool. No, not in Satsunami.
I sound like the kazoo kid.
Oh, God, yeah. Wait a minute. But yeah, how are you doing today? Other than that knock to your confidence. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. The World Cup is still ongoing at the time of recording, so we've been watching some of the games, which has been fun, and we've been having a heat wave, but been enjoying myself here. What about yourself?
Yeah, can't complain. I think the worst of the heat wave, as of recording this episode, has passed over, but the TV keeps threatening us with another heat wave, and you're sitting there like, oh, thank God it's raining, it's normal Scottish weather, and then you see the supermarkets put out the barbecue kits and things, and it's like, what do you know that I don't? It's when you see, you know, those sausages on the sticks, and you're like, I don't like this. I'm going to get burnt, aren't I?
I have such a terrible burn on my back. It's really bad.
Getting sunburned on your back is the worst. It's the worst superpower ever.
I just summon the power of aloe vera to heal me.
You can be a podcaster, but you're going to burn.
Part and parcel. I don't think every podcaster is pasty and burns easily.
As I said, today we are on a third episode of Marvel Month, which, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? How long have we been talking about this month before we started recording and everything? Because was it last year?
Yeah, we've been talking about doing something for this. We knew Spider-Man was coming out this month, and so we wanted to try and do something kind of in the lead up to that. And so hopefully we'll be able to make it work with the immediate reaction podcast that will take place in a couple of weeks' time from when this releases. But yeah, this has been long in the making, and even prior to last year, I think we talked about, or at least I've brought up the idea of doing more Marvel related stuff.
I mean, it's a lot of films, to be fair.
It is a lot of films.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of films, there's a lot of games, there's a lot of comics, you know, it's a chunky month. But today, of course, to kind of lighten things up, because last week we talked about and again, I use this very loosely to talk about the downfall of the MCU, which I have to say, when I say downfall, it's still going strong. Maybe not as strong as it used to be, but it's still going. It's still prominent. And as you said, people are really excited. One of the other things I was watching the other day was that Spider Noir show. Have you seen that recently?
I've only seen the first episode. I've not watched it past that. I enjoyed what I saw. Maybe I've seen 2 episodes now, but I've only seen a little bit of it. It was interesting. I liked what I saw, but I've not been rushing to see it because we've been watching other stuff instead.
Yeah, it's definitely different, I have to say. And it's one thing that I think without Nicolas Cage, I don't know how well people would respond to it, if you know what I mean. I feel as if he is the glue holding that show together. Like, everyone else is really talented.
He is so old in it. It feels like it was the kind of show that would have fit him better 20 years ago. It doesn't really make sense, his role in it, at his age. I feel like he was supposed to be a bit younger to be able to do this.
Well, slight spoilers, but they do de-age him at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, in a flashback. I won't spoil anymore, but it's a flashback. Again, it would be really weird if they just had him there as old man Ben Reilly somewhere, but no, it does work, I have to say. But yeah, while I was watching that, it's something that you and I have talked about, maybe not in terms of Marvel, but in general for the Living in the X-World episodes, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about living in the Marvel world. This is one that is definitely ripe for the exploring, isn't it? Because they kind of have their own, is it right to say, system in place in terms of lore building and world building for the films, that you do have ordinary people reacting to what's going on.
Yeah, in a way. They do have lots of audience insert extras that are like, oh my goodness, is this actually happening? Or that kind of thing, where you're kind of seeing how the average person is impacted by the MCU.
And I think that is the perfect place to, web zip, superhero land, throw your hammer and fly, I suppose. I'm struggling to think of the other ones, because it's like, yeah, you can fly into it, but that's so boring.
Nanosuit app.
Yeah, grow or shrink. Ant-Man reference.
Nice one.
Hulk up.
Jump on your six-legged friend.
Or get banned from acting because of your superpowers. You ready to dive into this topic, Andrew?
Yeah, let's get into it.
And of course, we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome to Satsunami, a Scottish variety podcast that discusses topics from gaming and films to anime and general interests. Join me, your host, Satsunami, as well as the rest of our Chatsunami team for our takes on these very important pop culture topics.
Sir, it's clearly a trap. I accept your bait! That happens 3 times in the film. Like, every time that general goes, don't do this one thing, he goes, do you know what I'm gonna do? That's the exact
It does as well. She had the pointy teeth. What was that about?
She looked like Bilbo when he wants the ring back.
She did, didn't she? I just want the lightsaber one more time.
Parasite says, no, you will get back into your office and work.
No, says the man in Zoom. Yeah. Trousers are for the working man.
You're bursting into your hotel room. Honey, we need to go.
Leave the kids. You can milk an audition.
Oh! That's the worst thing you've ever said in any of the episodes.
If that sounds like your cup of tea, then you can check us out at our website, chatsunami.com, as well as all good podcast apps. As always, stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay hydrated.
Stay classy and have a banana. This has been Satsunami.
I'm sorry.
They rule the streets. They take what they want.
Hand it over, street meats, before we make you dead meat.
And you'll have to deal with them if you want to make it through the night. If Ashley wants to survive, she'll need to fight on their turf. She'll have to fight dirty.
Stop struggling.
And she'll have to pick them off one by one if she hopes to make it through the night. Make It Through the Night, the savage novel of revenge and violence on the streets by Amy Koto. Available now from Amazon.com. Find more by author Amy Koto by visiting tvfanatic.blog or on Twitter at TV_fanatic_girl. Make It Through the Night by Amy Koto. Her night from hell has only just begun.
So, I've got a question for you, Andrew, and it's probably the most pertinent question of this episode. See if you found out one day that superheroes did exist. What would your reaction be to that? Genuinely, if you heard someone had like super strength and everything, or had the powers of a spider, for example, you were opened up to this world. Yeah, what would you be saying?
It's hard. It probably wouldn't affect me on like an actual day-to-day basis. I would be like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Like how you'd like idolize an absolutely insane athlete kind of thing. It it would be very cool in that way. And you kind of wonder what the limitations of it would be. But because it wouldn't directly impact me, I guess there wouldn't be too much of a concern that sets in, or how can this be best used sort of thing.
Well, I mean, you say that, but what if you were going on holiday to these big cities, or... Because, I mean, look at Spider-Man Far From Home, where Spider-Man's in Venice, for God's sake. And it's like, you would have to accept, surely, that there's going to be superheroes everywhere, no matter where you go. Well, maybe not in the more rural parts, but...
If we're talking almost like The Boys kind of thing, where they're everywhere, and so there's loads of superheroes and then also loads of supervillains, then yes, that would affect on a day-to-day basis. If you are in this kind of environment like the MCU is, which has extraterrestrial threats and supervillains and robots and that kind of stuff, then yes, that would affect me on a day-to-day basis, and there would be a level of kind of panic that sets in. I think people in the MCU generally are not as just scared as I think they should be.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They have such a whimsy to what's going on than I feel makes sense. I would be panicking.
The thing is, though, I suppose it's just you get used to it. You know, it's like you see, I don't know, Spider-Man or Thor or whatever beating up somebody in New York. And I don't mean like just curb stomping them in the street corner.
Like the Godfather.
I'm just thinking of just beating some random person, and you're like, is that the superheroes, or is that just, you know, the mascots dressed up? You're like, I don't want to know. Because that's the thing, though. Do you think a lot of people would try to, and I don't think it's something the MCU has explored, maybe in the comics this has been explored, and I know there's Kick-Ass and things like that, but do you think there would be a lot more people wanting to be superheroes?
Like a vigilante kind of thing?
Yeah, because I know you've got like the Punisher and everything, that they technically, as far as I know, they don't have powers.
So they get into that in Daredevil.
I knew you were going to say that, and I don't know why.
So in the latest couple of seasons of Daredevil, a large part of it is about vigilantes and how there's like a crackdown from the government on vigilantes and like how they can do what they're doing. And so there is certainly an interest from areas of the public to do that. And then it becomes almost like a mob justice thing at times as well in that scenario, where people will wear the colors of a certain vigilante and like all kind of, I don't want to get the spoilers here for Daredevil, especially 'cause I know you've not seen it, but they'll wear the colors and represent who that vigilante is and beat up the perceived bad guys, that kind of stuff. So there certainly is, I think, an encouragement from the world of superheroes to then fulfill this kind of vigilantism, because in our world there is vigilantes do exist, like their own kind of vigilante kind of justice kind of system, which is illegal and is punished. But in a world where superheroes exist, it brings the campiness of it up, that they wear the special costumes and that kind of thing. It's just like you'll see occasionally this guy wears a full Batman outfit, goes and fights crime at night kind of thing in real life.
Was that not in the news recently, where it was a guy in Mexico? I think he dressed up as, maybe not Batman, but they used the image of Batman to make the comparison, but basically he was targeting thieves and things, and what he was doing was he was taping them to poles.
Amazing. But like Spider-Man?
Essentially, yeah, it's just all these people mummified in tape just on these lampposts and things, and it's like, okay, first of all, how are you carrying that much tape around without them hearing you, you know?
It's like you're the teacher in My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. I mean, fair dues, everyone needs a hobby. But at the same time, I'm like, that is just absolutely wild. But yeah, I mean, I suppose you would get a cult of personality, because I don't know if you've played the Spider-Man Insomniac games, which the first game is absolutely fantastic, one of my favourites of all time. But they have a very interesting thing where they've got apps and things to track where Spider-Man is. And I think they're doing it in the new film, Brand New Day. But it's like he tweets out and everything, and they respond. And it's really cool, because you would have that divide, wouldn't you? Where it's like, I mean, I suppose it's like nowadays celebrities, where it's like you've got half of them that would try and have that street levelness to them, you know, like your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. But then for the Avengers, I don't necessarily think they would be roaming about, would they?
The big guys, you're not going to see them just all the time. But I think there's a difference in MCU universe and the Marvel comics, that kind of thing. Because like, if you get into like Marvel comics, you've got mutants and other people with superpowers and stuff like that, and so it becomes like a more common thing. So you probably are going to encounter someone with some level of power, maybe not every day, but pretty frequently. But in the MCU, it's not super common to have powers, at least not yet, because they haven't introduced mutants properly, at least, into the MCU. So I think for the time being, at least, it's unlikely you're going to see anyone that has these powers, unless you live in New York. New York seems to be a bit of a hotbed.
Jesus, yeah. I genuinely never considered this up until someone brought it up, and they're like, you do realise how many superheroes there are in New York? And yeah, you've got the Avengers, you've got Spider-Man, you've got the Punisher, you've got Daredevil. I mean, Ghost Rider, does he hang about there? Maybe.
Well, I mean, he's not in it yet, is he?
Nick Cage, we love you, but we don't love that film. Yeah, no, I don't think he is. Was he not supposed to be, though? In a side tangent, was he not supposed to be?
Oh, he was going to be in the Deadpool movie, I think, the Deadpool Wolverine one, I think.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think it worked out or something like that. But yeah, no, there was talk about him being in it, I think.
That's a shame, actually. Well, is it a shame? Maybe.
Remember when he pissed fire?
Remember when they pissed fire in the trailer and then they put the exact same trailer shot in the movie? Like it was literally standing on a black background.
Terrible movie.
I paid to see that in the cinema.
The best Ghost Rider bit was when he was in the Fantastic Four cartoon and he rocked up and has defeated
Galactus.
Galactus with his powers of Hellfire or whatever it was called.
Oh, is it the Penance Stare or something?
Yeah, it's the Penance Stare. And he's like, why don't you just do this all the time? Like, this seems to just defeat everyone. And he's just like, no, that's stupid. He's like motorcycles away. He's like, I'm away.
I love how you're giving him the Skeletor voice. Yeah.
Anyone who's a skeleton has the Skeletor voice.
Yeah. You know what? Can't argue.
Having skin and muscles and that kind of thing, it changes your voice. If you don't have that, you just sound like Skeletor.
Until we meet again. Just motorcycles off. Oh, God. Right, here's a question for you. Speaking of terrifying superheroes, because don't get me wrong, it would be absolutely terrifying to see a supervillain out there, whether it's something low level, you know, they're robbing a bank or whatever, and you go, great, I'm going to have to go down the road and lift money out another account.
Are you sorry?
I know, don't.
Are you lifting the money or are the bank robbers lifting the money?
Column A, column B.
Oh, I see.
Are we going to get into this?
This episode, yes, we are.
So, as long-term listeners may be aware, Andrew and I, of course, went to uni, and him and I have because we live in different coasts in Scotland, we have different ways of saying certain things, which, you know, is all fair and good. But one time I said I was going to go lift money, which to me means I'm going to an ATM machine. But I know, ATM machine, chai tea, you know. Naan bread, yeah. But I was going to an ATM.
PIN number.
Yeah, PIN number, yeah. Are you just going to list all of these off?
I'm done. I can't think of any more.
Halfway through the episode, I've got it. But yeah, I said I was going to lift money, which means I'm going to take my bank card, which I legally have. I'm going to legally put it in the machine, put my PIN in, and then I'm going to take money out the machine, which I say I'm going to go lift money. But you took offence to that.
Offence is a bit of a strong word. I questioned what that meant, given it sounds like you were going to go rob a bank.
Well, I mean, the balaclava didn't help, to be fair.
I'm pretty sure there's a cadence of lifting a joint or something like that, which means robbing the place.
Is it, though?
I think so. And everyone we asked agreed. And they were like, yeah, that sounds like you're going to rob someone.
Well, no, there was one other person from the west of Scotland.
There was. Every single person thought that you were robbing money.
They weren't from the same place, so they don't get a say.
One of them, I think, was. I think one of them was also like, no, I've never said that in my life. I think it's a you thing. I think you just rob banks.
How do you think I fund the podcast?
Fair.
True.
It ain't Patreon. Please subscribe to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/Satsunami. If you want money in your bank, put it in mine.
If you don't want money in your bank.
I was going to say for legal reasons that's a joke, but the sad thing is physical banks, at least in Scotland, I don't know how it is over there, they're all closing. The physical banks, you know, up the road and everything.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it's a pain. So they're all shutting down. So here's the question for you before I go back to my original question.
How are you going to rob a bank?
Yeah, exactly. What are supervillains going to do?
It's all going to be digital, isn't it? So they'll hack
commit fraud. Yeah.
No, that's not fraud.
No, but it's like identity theft is not a joke, Vulture. I mean, would catfishing be on the rise for these supervillains?
Well, there was in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, there's a whole thing where I think it's like a Asgardian elf or something person can shapeshift, and she like shapeshifts and like catfishes people. She pretends to be Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion or something. I think it was Megan Thee Stallion. Whoever She-Hulk twerks with at the end of that.
Yeah, it's Megan Thee Stallion, which I have to say I had no idea who that person was was. Everybody genuinely, and I might stoke the ire of a few fans over out there, but genuinely people were getting so mad at that scene online and they're like, oh my god, why is Megan Thee Stallion in this show? And I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. They kept posting that video over and over again. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Andrew, are we old?
It's like during the World Cup when the American camera people keep panning to the crowd of like a celebrity and the commentators are like, I don't know who that is.
Who the hell is that? Oh, how depressing would that be? Can you imagine if there was like a superhero at one of these events and, you know, it panned round and they just get no applause or anything? How bad would your ego be hit for that?
Poor Hawkeye.
I know they make jokes in it and everything, but surely there's like a tier of... I know you mentioned The Boys before, but there has to be a tier of marketing and PR, mustn't there?
How are they funded?
Well, there's Iron Man.
Yeah, well, Iron Man just has the money. He has his own sales of technology and stuff that he does for like contracts and whatnot.
But not arms deals anymore.
No.
I just want to point that out.
Things are very close to that, though. He's definitely making weapons.
We'll give you the guidance system, but not the actual missile. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not better. That's not
They're
better
making
at
an
all.
advanced drone system. I guess theoretically, no, he hasn't given that to anyone except Spider-Man.
There was actually, although it's one where Tony ends up being a villain, but I do remember that where he makes a suit that I think is alive or something, but he has this, I can't remember what it is in the comics, and it's like he manages to, and again, I don't know if it's like a nanobot thing or whatever, but he manages to cure people of their ailments, because he even cures Daredevil of his blindness, but the effects are only temporary unless you sign up to a subscription service.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like, on the one hand, I'm like, that is diabolical, and on the other, I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
So that's a whole big pharma kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We could cure this, but we've got a thing that'll just help you for each month instead that you have to keep paying us for.
Didn't we used to just pay a one-off fee for this? That's it, you've been warned. Ghost Rider, get him. Not the pin and stare. Oh, there are my eyes. Oh. Anyway, sorry, Nick Cage aside. Here's a question though, going back to the original one.
Back to Nick Cage.
Yeah, back to the What would be the one superhero you would be terrified to see in public?
Hulk.
Well, okay, yeah, maybe. Well, yeah.
He has no control over what he's doing.
Well, unless you got that weird one that brings you tackles or whatever it is.
Oh, Smart Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, smart.
He dabs. He's so cool.
Oh, yeah. In 2019, he dabs. Yay. Thanks, guys. You really know what the kids want. But no, okay, Hulk aside. The reason I ask is I was thinking back to when my friend Wisteria Moth and I did the Living in the Sonic world. We said basically that Sonic would be like the Mothman of that world, where it's like...
What, like he's a cryptid?
More like he's a signal for something bad that's about to happen. So like if you saw him, you know he's going to be fighting a giant monster or giant robots or whatever. But surely, you know, if you saw like a run-of-the-mill Hawkeye or, I don't know, maybe Ant-Man, I suppose, because I know he's maybe a lower... I know he's an Avenger, technically.
So
I mean, he is. I like his memoir, okay? Mr. Ant-Man, please don't kill me. But what one would you look at? If you saw him in public fighting, what one would you look at and go, oh my god, something's going to happen. There's going to be, I don't know, fire and brimstone coming out the skies. There's going to be an alien invasion.
Oh, well, I mean, Thor would probably be a pretty big one because his whole thing is like there's a lot of big fights, big destruction kind of thing. So if he was fighting against someone, there's probably going to be a lot of destruction. I mean, like, again, Hulk fits into that as well. It's a pretty big scale situation. So I think that would probably be pretty scary. Also, Hulk doesn't really show up on Earth unless something's going down. So you'd be pretty worried if Hulk was there.
Do you know what would be, I'm throwing you a curveball here, but do you know what would be a weird one? The Fantastic Four.
So before you go there, are we talking their world, Fantastic Four? Or are we talking when they get to us? Because we don't know them yet. If we're in the main MCU, they're just rocking up in their spaceship.
I mean, more in terms of between the Fox films or just in general with the comics. Let's say if they all coincided with one another and legal issues weren't a problem.
For sure.
But you're either going to get the lamest villain ever or you're going to get the literal eater of worlds. There's no in between with them.
There's like an orangutan. He's called Red something. Oh, what's he called? It's something stupid.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you're either going to get the dumbest villain popping out and you're like, oh, yay, the Fantastic Four are here. Or you're going to see Galactus and you're going to go, oh, shit.
Red Ghost. ghost, the super apes.
Please tell me you're making that up.
The super apes is a general term given to the name of the primates used by the Russian scientist and criminal Ivan Kragov, aka the Red Ghost.
Oh, for God's sake.
I think even in the MCU Fantastic Four movie, when they do that quick compilation of the various villains they've beaten, and Mr. Fantastic kicks this orangutan into the water, he says, "Oh, we defeated Red Ghost and his super apes."
Yay.
They'll have like Mole Man, Red Ghost, and then, yeah, Destroyer of Worlds, Galactus.
Yeah. Again, there's no in-between for that, because at least you think, well, I mean, if you see the Avengers, that would be a bit worrying, because you're like, well, why is Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and the rest?
Unless they've just had shawarma.
Oh, God, yeah, that's true. Unless they're relaxing after the credits. You know that joke that they have where they freeze frame, see after the credits roll and everything? Do you think they're just stuck in a state of limbo and people are just walking around them like, what's going on? You guys okay?
Or everyone is, but they're still sentient and they're just like trying to scream, but they can't.
It's like, you know that Family Guy skit? What's going on, Peter? I don't know. Get help. Call someone. Who? I don't know. And he's just frozen in the air. It'd probably be like that, to be honest. But I mean, thinking of the wreckage of New York after the Avengers film, do you think insurance is a big thing in that world?
I reckon there must be some insurance premium kind of thing you can purchase. It's like the supervillain package kind of thing, where if your home gets destroyed by some sort of supervillain event, then there'll be like small print of like, if it's extraterrestrial, you need to get the extraterrestrial package kind of thing. They'll find some way of not paying it out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, no, you got blipped. It doesn't count. Yeah. Because I mean, that is something that I actually wondered if the comics have addressed. You know, they probably have addressed the blip, but yeah, let's talk about the blip, because one of us is going, but I don't know which one.
Let's flip a coin.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I can handle the blip. It's like, you know, when you were younger and you always had that one kid who was like, oh, I've got this superpower for a shield that can't be penetrated and everything, and oh, I've got superpowers and blah, blah, blah. He would be first on the chopping block. That's beside the point. But yeah, what would you even do with that? Well, I mean, if you got blipped, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, nothing until you came back.
Yeah.
There's two sides of it. There's those who didn't get blipped that then have to pick up the pieces of this world that now is missing probably half the people you know. But then, like, it's not like you're a family of 6 and 3 of you go and 3 of you don't. There's a good chance that it might be where your entire family gets blipped, or your entire family gets saved, or one of you gets blipped, or 5 of you do and 1 of you don't kind of thing. There isn't an exact, oh, the Smith family gets half of them cut off and that kind of thing. It is kind of fairly random, so you don't necessarily know what the situation will be. Like, I come from a family of 6. Like, I don't know if any of us would get blipped or if all of us would get blipped.
Here's the question. Would you carry on Satsunami if I got blipped?
I don't know. Have you seen my editing?
Well, yeah. It's not that bad.
It's non-existent is the thing.
Well, it's been blipped. Well, hey.
Hey-o.
Hey.
I have so much time, I can finally get it done. My glasses, no!
It's not fair.
It's not fair. I had time to edit. Audible doesn't work.
Oh, if only I had Audible. Shout out to the Twilight Zone. That is the Twilight Zone, isn't it?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Thank God.
The scary door.
I thought I was going to out myself as someone who didn't know what I was talking about, which, I mean, running the podcast for nearly 300 episodes, I know, shock horror. But yeah, I mean, what is scary to me, I have to say, is not so much that, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, an alien invasion, people disappearing and things, large-scale ones, that's definitely terrifying. But the thing that would worry me about living in the MCU as well is, see the small things.
All the small things.
Well, that too. You've got the event that sets off, I think it's Civil War, where it's like in the beginning of Civil War, at least in the comics, not in the film, but in the comics, I'm pretty sure the reason that it all kicks off is because it's like a supervillain that's terrorising people, but they send the Z team to stop him. All the reject ones, the ones who aren't even listed on the Marvel website, and it's like, don't worry, we'll stop him. And he blows up a whole town or the whole radius and everything. And it's like, that would be the scary thing if you got a crap superhero to defend you. Because supervillains, don't get me wrong, that's terrible. But what if you got, I don't know, Shawarma Man or something?
Shawarma Man?
Yeah, Shawarma Man, or the Dickens cinematic universe coming, like Simba Jr. coming out the wormhole.
If Simba Jr. was coming to save me, I know I'd be in good hands.
Would you know? Do you know Italian, Andrew? Do you know? because
I know enough. I know I'm not going to be finito, that's for sure.
that's the thing, though. The places you and I live, I'm assuming for you as well, we don't live in highly densely populated cities and things.
Mine's like
Well, you're more than me, definitely. But I'm not going to get a good superhero. I'm going to get Cone Man, and it's like his power's putting a cone on top of people's heads. Anything else? No, that's it.
I don't know. I'd say if you're around Scotland's biggest city, you'll have some superhero. If you're on the outskirts, then like no. But if you're thereabouts, then maybe he'll travel over. Maybe they'll get the train over.
Yeah, but what if Doc Ock or someone, a big villain, decides to be a dick and, I don't know, he sleeps in while he's on the train and he's all right, yeah, let's just destroy this dude.
If it's a big enough villain deciding that they're going to mess with X place, then there's going to be a good superhero that's going to be around there.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I mean, this is the same world. It's got aliens in it. It's got shapeshifters, which technically it is the same. Yeah, I mean, you've got wizards as well, or wizards, witches, that kind of thing.
What I'm also thinking, though, is that everything's very coincidental, too. If you're in Edinburgh...
Oh, you're going to get a good one.
No. Oh, yeah. But no, there'll be an extraterrestrial threat rocks up. It'll also be when Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are on their honeymoon or something, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess we got to suit up and defeat this thing. There'll just be someone who is like a good superhero that just happens to be there.
To reference One Punch Man, what if you get someone like Human Rider or something? You know, it's like you get a guy cycling and he throws his bike at, I don't know, Thanos.
He's trying his best, okay?
He is a hero, but I don't want him fighting Thanos, I'm going to be honest.
The One Punch Man universe, though, is like messed up because cities will just get absolutely destroyed in a second. They don't care about the collateral damage of those shows. There's very little saving that actually happens.
Well, true. True, but even still, there would definitely be a cyclist superhero. 110%. There's no way there wouldn't be.
Amsterdam Man.
Tour de France. I multiply myself on the road. I gotta get to work.
Let me go round you. Gotta leave 1 meter. I can't. There's too many of you.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, citizen.
It doesn't even go fast in regular like bike terms. It's just a bike.
It's not even a fancy bike.
It's just a street bike.
It's one of those. You're the ones you hire in the cities. It's just one of them.
It's a Boris bike.
My bike was stolen, okay? It's like, oh, Jesus. The reason I asked, though, is because there was a comic that I remember seeing. It was something really stupid like, oh, Thanos, and this is legit, Thanos helps an old lady across the road. Have you heard of this one? No, so he creates this butterfly effect where he ends up helping this old lady across the road, but because of that, one of the women in the bus, they end up being late for a exam. I think it's like for a medical exam or something like that, where they want to be a doctor, but they fail and they don't get into medical school and everything, and then they end up wasting their life. And the reason is because Thanos wanted to with this particular person because they found the cure for cancer. And what he does is, just as she's about to die, he goes to visit her on her deathbed and shows her the life she could have had before she croaks it.
I do remember this, actually.
What would you do at that point? I mean, it's one thing if Thanos or whoever, or I don't know, Magneto or any of the others, they want to destroy your city, right? Okay, fair enough. You know, that's your MO.
A particular vendetta against you to make your life worse.
Yeah, it's like, what if you look at them the wrong way? That's it. That's game over. You're just going to have to live your life looking over your shoulder. Because, I mean, the Avengers aren't going to help you, surely.
This sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, file it with the boys. File it with Tour de France, man. You'll sort it out. I mean, you'd be screwed, wouldn't you? It's impossible to not live in a world of superheroes, isn't it?
In this context, yes. No.
Well, yeah, in this context. But just like in general, you know, if you were living in this world where you had to coexist with all these superheroes, you're always going to see it on the news. You're always going to see it on social media.
I can imagine there'll be large groups of people that are like really sick of like, oh, I can't believe these superheroes again. I want to hear about these superheroes. But like kind of like politics. Like, oh, don't talk to me about superheroes. I've not had my coffee yet.
Things were better before people started putting superheroes and things. I mean, you're not wrong, to be honest. Because the thing that I found interesting, and I'm thinking back to our Wonder Man episode, is remember when the main character can't even get a job as an actor? Well, he can, but he has to
about
hide.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to lie because he's got superpowers, and they have this clause called, I think it's the doorman
The
clause.
doorman, yeah.
Yeah, because of a superhero that got so famous, and his powers basically messed it up.
Kill Josh Gad.
Yeah, rest in peace, Josh, wherever you are.
Spoilers, Olaf dies in Frozen 2.
He dies in all of them, let's face it. Sorry, kids listening to this. He dies in all of them, but do you think there's exceptions to that, though, for certain superheroes to be involved? Because surely if they said, oh, we want Iron Man to do, I don't know, a face mask line, surely they'd be chomping at the bit to get him into that. I mean, obviously they're not going to do it for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, I mean, there's going to be people that enjoy certain superheroes. There'll be some that they think are pretty cool, I guess. They have their personal favorites. It's kind of like, you know, how there's like those K-pop bands, they'll have 30 members in them, and one of them is always going to be someone's favorite. There's some that are going to be more talented and more attractive than others. I was about to say a name, and I'm not just going to ballpark a name.
You know him, that guy, the one that's on your backpack, yeah.
So there'll be some people who are like, oh, I really want an Ant-Man mask. And they're like, really? You want Ant-Man? It's like, yeah, Ant-Man's my favorite. We're out of Bort license.
I mean, that's how super villains get created.
What? Because they're rubbish superheroes? No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was that Super Crooks anime. Is that not the whole plot of that?
What?
Yeah, he was a shite superhero, so he became a supervillain. And the anime, yeah. He nearly electrocutes a full pool of people for making fun of him. By accident, but...
Oh, I think I'm thinking of a different thing. I was thinking of that heist one.
Oh, you thinking of The Great Pretender?
I am thinking of The Great Pretender.
That's it. Okay, that's fair enough.
I was like, they're super crooks, because they're really good criminals.
Well, in a technicality, yes. That's true. That's something that we talked about last week when we were talking about Thunderbolts, but see, in terms of licensing and things like that, that must be an utter nightmare. Let's say you and I had superpowers, and I'm going to let your imagination fill in the blanks there, but if we had superpowers and then Martin had superpowers and Adam, and we're like, right, okay, we're going to call ourselves, I don't know, the Satsunami Initiative or whatever, and then it's like, oh no, you can't because better superheroes have got that name. I don't know how they got that name, mind you, but that would just be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
I guess so. I mean, you'd think a legal situation as anything else. Depends if you got there first.
True. Depends who has the better powers, to be fair.
Yeah, you sort of challenge them to a superhero off.
I thought you were going to say a duel there.
In the Thunderbolts, when they like the new Avengers, there's Sentry?
Sentry, yeah.
There's Sentry, who has unbelievable powers, but doesn't know how to unlock them by the end of the film. And then there's Red Guardian, who has some super soldier serum type stuff. But everyone else is just a normal person.
Oh my god, you're right.
Oh, no, that's not true, because there's Captain America, John Walker. He also has super soldier. So a bunch of them just have like super soldier serum, because Bucky also just has super soldier serum. They really are just a really bad team, aren't they?
They really are. I know they want to make it the kind of, I know this isn't the point of the episode, but I know they want to make it their Suicide Squad.
I mean, that was the intention of the Thunderbolts. It was like Thunderbolt Ross, Suicide Squad type thing. But as an Avengers team, it doesn't really make sense. But also the Thunderbolts, I'm pretty sure, had a more varied cast of people with powers, whereas they just don't have that available to them in the MCU's context. Like, it wouldn't make sense.
Was Wolverine not part of the Thunderbolts?
Wolverine's been in like every team. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Wolverine has been in the Fantastic Four. Wolverine has been in the Avengers, in the X-Men, the X-Force.
No, the reason I ask, and this is how I found out he was Canadian, because I think it was the old X-Men cartoon, and I was flicking through. It was the weirdest bunch of superheroes that popped out, and they're like, oh, we're your old teammates. And I'm like, who the hell is that? It was like, I don't know, Captain Canada or something over here.
So he's been on X-Men, X-Force, Uncanny X-Force, Alpha Flight, Astonishing X-Men, the Avengers, the New Avengers, the Avengers Unity Squad, Weapon X, Weapon Plus, Team X, Department H/Department K, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Canadian Army, the New Fantastic Four, the Secret Defenders, the Savage Avengers, the Hand, Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and Hydra when he was brainwashed.
Sorry, why is the Canadian Army singled out in that list?
Because he was in the army years ago, World War One, World War Two kind of thing. Because he's Canadian, so he didn't sign up for like the US Army or British Army. He was in the Canadian Army.
No, I know, but it's just, it's like a weird thing to be like, oh, here's all these fantastical teams.
Hey.
And the Canadian Army.
Our proud Canadian Armed Forces do us proud, okay? They're out there on the front lines against superhero threats of every day. So I don't want to hear anything about Wolverine being in the Canadian Army.
I mean, no shade to the Canadian Army. But
he stormed the beaches of Dunkirk, getting bullets into him. His teammates didn't have that luxury.
Sorry, I think you got Dunkirk mixed up there. We were running away from Dunkirk.
Wait, what? Normandy. He was charging the beaches of Normandy. He charged the beaches of Normandy. I said Normandy from the beginning. I don't know what you're talking about. I always said Normandy. So he's charging the beaches of Normandy, and he's like, all good. But his teammates, they're taking bullets for him.
I mean, that would explain why we were running away. It's like, where are you going, bub?
It's only like I did a history degree or something.
What, us do history? Nah, definitely not.
History month when? This episode, we'll discuss this phase of history.
We'll discuss why Wolverine's the cause of North Korea's formation, number one. But here, speaking of Wolverine, actually, and the X-Men, moving away from the Canadian Army here.
If we must.
Yeah, I know, begrudgingly, if we must. But that is also the confusing thing as well, because I have never, like, I get the story beat, seeing the comics and the shows and everything about mutants, people hate them and everything, but I still genuinely don't understand why they hate mutants, but they love superheroes. That always baffles me. It is the difference because mutants are born with their powers, whereas...
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's... Well, for one thing, it's also because it's an allegory for several different things. One of them being the Black Civil Rights Movement and also the Stonewall LGBTQ movement as well. So like, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there as to why they're kind of represented as these kind of oppressed groups. But then also because they don't have cool superpowers all the time. Sometimes it'll just be like, you look like a porcupine. And so it's hard to integrate into society like that.
See, in these standalone films, you know, where the X-Men are the central superheroes of the world and everything, that I understand. It makes more of a narrative sense. But do you think people would care as much if, and I know we're definitely probably going to find out like Doomsday or any of the other films coming up when they do eventually integrate the X-Men into the MCU, but do you think people would be as concerned that a mutant saving them or an X-Man or whatever versus like if Thor's saving them or something?
It's one of those things where if you're of use to someone, then you're much more likely to be treated better. So like if the X-Men came in and saved the day, you're like, oh wow, so cool, thanks guys, love you. And then like you walk down the street later that day and you see Porcupine Dude and you're like, get away from me, freak.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You know that meme? It's like the
harassment, yeah, versus flirting.
Any other superhero, it's like, oh, you're so sweet. And then it's the porcupine guy, like, who there is like, hello, human resources. I suppose it wouldn't help the job market either if you had that. Again, from a narrative perspective, I do get the allegories and things that they do bring up for them and everything. And I think regardless, you are always going to get people who are afraid of superheroes, see whether they are mutants or they are just, they've got the powers later on in life. Because I mean, I know I keep bringing them up, shock horror, but look at Spider-Man, for example, or, I mean, does Daredevil get the same flack?
Yeah, I mean, Daredevil is one of those things where, because you never see him just like out and about. He's like Batman. He pops up, beats some people up, then kind of leaves kind of thing. So there's kind of a cult of interest around him from like New Yorkers and then other people who are like scared of the idea of him, whether it's a criminal or just kind of general person who's just like, oh my god, this kind of scary dude in a devil costume comes next, like rocks up and beats people up. Kind of thing. So it's also kind of like how the media are portraying certain people. The Daily Bugle will push the Spider-Man as a menace agenda kind of thing. And so whereas other media platforms might push him as more of a hero. And so it's an interesting one where depending on who you are and your kind of personality and who you're fighting kind of thing, it can kind of vary how people are interested in you and how they represent you.
I'm just thinking of the way that superheroes are represented, you know, and I can't remember if it was you I was talking to like ages ago about this, but it has come up before where people basically equate when people used to worship Greek gods and things and they had their own stories about them and whatnot, and they've kind of said the equivalent for us nowadays is essentially these superheroes, although I think the difference is that people know that they're not real. But if hypothetically we were in that world, there would be a lot of worship there, wouldn't there? There would be a lot of people really devoted to these particular superheroes and wanting to be like them, but then on the flip side, as you said, it depends who, and again, it does mirror the real world, that who you decide to quote unquote worship or follow online or whatever, or whether you want to be like a stan, as it were, it would depend on what is being said about them online, because you can't really get away from it, can you? Because in the Spider-Man game, they've also got podcasts and things. I don't know if you've seen that. Genuinely, they've got podcasts instead of the news bulletins, and it's all the facts with J. Jonah Jameson or something everything. It's hilarious.
A bit like in the MCU, because they introduced him having his web show. He's a bit like Alex Jones kind of type thing of popping up on this web show to sort of be like, this guy's a menace.
But I mean, you would never hear the end of it, would you? If people wanted to hate a superhero, because, and again, this is something that does mirror real life, but do you think the attitudes would be different if it was during the 90s and the 2000s for superheroes in real life versus nowadays?
I don't know. You have a different kind of context to the world then. It was pre 9/11 for one thing. It's hard to say. I wasn't around during those times, really. I can't really say how society would have reacted to superheroes being alive and around then as opposed to what it would be like now. Now it would be very kind of like social media heavy, a lot of influencer type stuff. I think maybe it'd be more evangelical back then. There might be more of a they are gifts from God kind of thing. There might be kind of like a second coming kind of idea for some of these guys, and they kind of might become a bit more Homelandery in terms of their own self-worship.
Again, it would have been printed media and everything that would have dictated how people felt, and even then, although you would have communities together that would be like, oh yeah, this guy's great, he saved my cat, or he punched an alien in the face or whatever. Yeah, that's all great, but when you get to the digital age for superheroes, it wouldn't be, and again, it's not that far between pre-internet and post-internet, but it would take away the mysticism of it, wouldn't it? We would have to physically see, yeah, I know we joked about it before, but we would have to physically see the superhero flying about, otherwise you would just hear it on the news and think, all right, they've done this, they've done that, whereas nowadays with TikTok and everything, and I know they make jokes about it in the MCU, but it would just be insufferable, wouldn't it? Because you would definitely have influencers that were purely just chasing these superheroes, wouldn't you? Don't get me started on the podcast. John Marvel following them about and everything.
There'd certainly be like channels dedicated, kind of like you have tornado hunters kind of thing where they'll ride around the country to find tornadoes. I bet there'd be similar kind of thing for superhero followers, and then people will try and get into the mix. And do you know what that Jake Gyllenhaal movie where he's a journalist, Nightcrawler? Yeah, I bet there'd be lots of competition from journalists to get into the mix of that big battle that's happening to try and get the best shots and whatnot.
Unlike Spider-Man, who steals all of the competition, he's like, no, only I may take my picture.
That's why he became Mysterio.
It would definitely be a lot different. And again, I think that nowadays in society, it's so hard to avoid the internet, because the internet is, I mean, you're listening to this on the internet, of course, but you wouldn't really be able to escape being bombarded with stories about it or seeing what they were up to or everything. And I think that looping back to what you were saying at the very beginning of this episode, you said that a lot of people are just very relaxed about the whole thing. They kind of go, oh no, that's terrible, and then they just walk away. I've still got to go to work in the morning, because let's face it, see, unless your building's destroyed or whatever, you've really still got to keep living, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You have to keep going. Nothing can really change in that regard. You just have to go about your life. So there's not too much. As much as living in this world would maybe raise your anxiety levels, raise your insurance premium, that kind of stuff, you're just going about your day.
Because, I mean, usually in these types of episodes, I always ask silly questions like, oh, what kind of jobs would you get in this universe and everything? But to be honest, it would be nearly identical, with the exception of there would be specialised cleanup crews, wouldn't there?
Yeah, I was going to say there will be specialised jobs that will become a thing, even designing super suits and that kind of thing. And
no capes.
Yeah, there'll be lots of agent type jobs that'll probably come up, or maybe they'd be already pre-existing agencies for like actors and musicians and stuff that would just kind of open up a department for superheroes. There'll be certain like media teams surrounding them. Yeah, I bet there will be things that come up. I guess nothing that isn't already a thing that just kind of gets expanded upon, though.
The thing I find ironic is, and I'm thinking back to Far From Home, where remember Mysterio ends up, and this is spoilers for the film in case you want to watch it before, but you know how he's got a whole VFX team?
Yes.
And everything. And it's like, that is amazing that although he's the villain and everything, he's still keeping so many people in a job.
He does threaten their lives on occasion.
I mean, yeah, but he pays them. I mean, I hope he pays them with that non-existent bank robbery.
How are they funding this revenge mission that they're going through?
The love of the game, I'm going to go for, because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the villains and things are absolutely terrible, and oh, they want to destroy the world, and oh, they want to collect the Infinity Stones, or oh, they want to crack open the multiverse like a cold one. But some of these villains are keeping the hired goons and things employed. You're like, gonna give some of them props. Not all of them, but what I'm saying is Shocker did nothing wrong.
Jesus.
That bank was in his way. Again, for legal reasons, that is a joke. But yeah, to be honest, what actually surprises me is, and I know we always joke about it, like when we did our Zelda episode, when we've done the Pokemon episode and the Sonic one and everything, there's always a major difference between them. But would you say that there isn't really much of it? I mean, obviously, other than the superheroes and aliens living amongst us and everything, but would you say there's much of a substantial difference?
The whole blip thing, which we didn't really get too much into, would be the biggest conflict within a general society of losing half the population.
They got Scrooged, yeah.
Yeah, and like, what?
And decrease the surplus population.
Oh.
It's in the Dickens cinematic universe, man.
It is in the DCU, my apologies.
Yeah. Oh my god, now I'm thinking of Scrooge with the gauntlet. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Michael Caine, sorry.
So many Muppets. In the context of the blip, you lose a whole bunch of the population and then they come back. And then you kind of have to then deal with what that means for the new society you just built. And then you have to now accommodate double the people.
I mean, they just try to dive into that in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I feel as if it's very surface level the way they do
that's
that.
Fair. I think it's interesting because they are exploring it more than they have in other media than when they've done things like the blip.
Yeah, they really brush it under the carpet, don't they? They're like, yeah, it happened, moving on.
They do get into what societal impact there is. In the start of Endgame as well, you see Steve Rogers is sitting with a support group of people who are dealing with survivor's guilt for being the ones that weren't blipped and remembering their partners who were blipped. And then you have, I think in WandaVision, you have Monica Rambeau when she comes back from being blipped. Mum had died from cancer. She wasn't there. And you had other people. Yeah, so you have like Yelena who she gets blipped back and she's now in her apartment or something like that, but like someone else is living in her apartment and they all freak out and she's like, oh, sorry about that. And then she comes out. So she finds out that Natasha had died and then she goes on her revenge mission to go kill Hawkeye. So they get into that around that period just after Endgame of what the kind of consequences were. You had that also with Spider-Man Far From Home.
Because they spoil it in the first 5 minutes, yeah. Or sorry, they don't spoil that film, but I'm still bitter about that. So the advert where it's like, hey guys, we're going to spoil it. Anyway, Iron Man's dead. It's like, Mr. Holland, what the hell? Spoilers, but it's been 6 years, come on. Or 7 years, technically.
Yeah.
I feel as if, and don't get me wrong, there's been hundreds of different catastrophic events, you know, whether that's in the comics, whether that's been in the TV shows and whatnot, but I feel as if we're looking at the MCU in general, that would be the worst thing to come back from. We haven't even touched on things like multiverses exist, which I've said that before, I don't like it, but you've got multiverses, you've got time travel, you've got different dimensions and whatnot, but for the blip, I think what makes that so heartbreaking is time passes, but you've missed those 5 years and you're just basically plopped 5 years into the future. Sorry, I say that, but that's Captain America's whole thing, isn't it? I mean, he was gone for what, 70 years or something?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it varies depending on when the comic books came out.
Well, true, yeah.
The comic books where he comes back in the 80s or the 90s or whatever, then it's only been 40 years as opposed to now from World War II, it's what, 70 or 80 years?
Captain America, we need you in Fortnite. It's one of the saving graces that they didn't announce. Remember in
Star Wars?
Rise of Skywalker, where it's like they did the whole Palpatine speech in Fortnite or something. I'm glad they never done that for the MCU. That would be so funny though. See if a supervillain just hijacked Fortnite and like, this is the only way anybody's going to take me seriously if I announce my evil plans in Fortnite. Can you imagine the Green Goblin being in Fortnite? Out, am I? I don't know enough about Fortnite, I'm going to be honest. I don't know enough to be like, Tilted Towers. That's it.
Poggers.
Chat, is this based?
Bus, where are we landing?
Misery, misery, misery. Everybody loves a top streamer until they get into a controversy. And this is the final point, I swear. But do you think, whether it's a politician or a celebrity or whatever, they get into like a controversy or something, how much of a sigh of relief do you think they have? See when they do that and everyone's, you know, trying to cancel them and they're gunning for their heads, and then, I don't know, someone decides to attack New York again or something, or attack a place, and they're like, thank God The heat is off me now.
So like they're doing like a banjo apology video, and then the Green Goblin blows up a bank, and so no one cares what they did anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I better put this ukulele away then.
Oh yeah, ukulele. I said banjo, I meant ukulele.
Yeah.
It'd be so much more different tone about the banjo. That'd be so funny.
Apology videos.
Superhero apology video. Well, you saw in Into the Spider-Verse that he advertised a specific product and then did an apology video for advertising that product.
Oh, is that no Wonder Man?
He also did that.
Oh, right, okay.
But there was definitely a thing with Miles Morales that he did that.
Ah, right, okay. But I mean, whether it's a superhero or supervillain, the quality of that video must be amazing.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, I feel as if certain supervillains, they want to be taken seriously and everything. Surely the production value would go up. I mean, they've stolen the camera, for God's sake, so probably they'd be like, yeah, I want the highest top tier ukulele coming out right now. Or I want the top tier sigh at the beginning going, I didn't want to make this video. They just go off in one. Whereas I can imagine superheroes, and especially like the lower tier ones, they have the grainy ass video. They're like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a Wendy's.
Remember, they were all in trouble for like the Sokovia Accord and that kind of stuff. So I can imagine just Captain America doing a video being like, guys, I'm sorry. We killed a bunch of people. Didn't mean to.
I'm thinking that South Park thing. Sorry.
Sorry.
We're sorry.
We're sorry. Rubbing his super nipple.
Yeah. Super nipple was not the phrase I wanted to learn today. Thank you, Andrew. I mean, yeah, that's a whole other thing as well. Not rubbing your super nipple, having all the accords and things. And would you be worried if you're like, oh, there goes the Avengers, and then literally the next day you're like, why are the Avengers fighting? In fact, you know what would be terrible? See if you're going on your Jet 2 holiday, right? And then you look outside and you see all these superheroes fighting on the runway. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad would you be at that?
Yeah, that'd be pretty frustrating. There's a very good chance your flight's going to get delayed. Is there anything to protect the cost of your flight if it's not been cancelled because of a superhero disagreement that happens out on the runway?
I mean, surely it's ATOL protected or something.
I think it was like a military base airport in Germany. I don't think it's just a standard airport, but maybe it was a standard airport. I'm remembering some of the fights that were happening
inside, yeah.
Yeah, like the airport gates kind of thing. But there was no one around though.
I know, that is the weirdest thing. It's like an airport with no planes, no people.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if it's like a private airport or something.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's the flights to Sokovia. I don't know. It's like, well, there's not a lot of planes going there anymore.
No, it doesn't exist.
Did they destroy it? Or, I know they threw it up and they dropped it, but...
Well, yeah, they lifted it into the air, then dropped it. I can't imagine it would survive after that.
Well, elbow grease, I'm sure it'll be fine.
But I don't think they lifted the country up. I think they lifted a city. Or maybe the city is the entire country.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. It's like, how small is this country?
I was born in Singapore, and it's a country and a city.
True, yeah. But I mean, it's not as small as Sokovia, surely.
I mean, it's pretty big, I guess, but like...
Pretty big, I guess.
I don't know the scale of Sokovia. I guess it's small enough that they were able to lift it up with some rocket boosts.
I completely forgot about that. That was a plot point. Was that not Ultron that did that?
Yeah, it was Ultron.
Yeah, again, that's the other thing. Because on the one hand, it's like, see, in all seriousness, would you be praying that you had, like, I know we said before that you would be hoping that you had a good superhero, but would you hope for a good supervillain as well?
Good in what context?
Like, good as incompetent, because it's like, on the one hand, you don't want some, and I know it's DC, but you don't want someone like Condiment King running about, or, I don't know, Calendar Man or something. I know they're Batman, but it's like, you don't want someone who's like, oh yeah, there goes old man Loki or something.
Red Ghost and the Super Apes.
Exactly. You don't want anyone like that. You want someone that's not going to destroy your city, but at the same time isn't going to embarrass your city, your town.
I don't know. I think if I'm only getting these low-level scrubs villains, then I think that's probably preferable to getting Galactus.
Yeah, like, obviously nobody wants Galactus, but at the same time... Man.
I just want to eat your world.
Num, 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 num. I'm actually surprised nobody's said that yet.
What num 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 as Galactus eats a world?
Yeah, Galactus eating, going num 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 num.
Me feeding my child. Here comes the world. Num 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 num.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, obviously, you don't want someone to destroy it, but you don't want the money lifter of Glasgow coming in, because it's like, all right, another bank robber.
Your supervillain name.
Yeah, what's your point, Andrew?
I am the money lifter.
Give me your money and I shall lift it into the air. Do you do anything else? No, that's it. I never really workshop beyond that, I'm going to be honest.
My telepathy powers only extend to cash. I don't have cash anymore. I just have debit. Shit.
Curses.
I've been foiled again by the banking system.
It's like stealing a bunch of cards and then having to return them being like, what is your PIN number?
What am I supposed to do with this?
This is legal tender, okay? All I'm saying is you would want someone that's not going to start a podcast and be insanely controversial. You want someone who inspires fear, but not someone who's going to be controversial.
I think you're getting very wildly off with this one, because why would you care? You'd want someone that's easy to catch.
I know, but see to live and day to day, absolutely, 100%.
There's living, and then there's living. You want someone that's going to give you that race, give you that adrenaline.
All I'm saying, if I'm going to Morrison's for a pint of milk, I don't want somebody blowing up the pint of milk. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to wet my cereal now?
Why did you make that sound so weird?
That's my superpower. That's payback for the super nipple comment. You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, but would you not be ashamed if your superhero and supervillain essentially just had a Twitter beef, or they both had podcasts where they were just calling each other out on them? I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't want to get blown up or anything by these...
like Drake and Kendrick Lamar or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah, where it's like, oh, yeah, you come in my podcast and I'll come in yours, and they're like insanely controversial. It's like, if you're going to be a supervillain or you're going to be a superhero, you should at least play the part. You shouldn't just be a dick in a costume, essentially, and that's kind of the fine line I think a lot of MCU heroes and villains kind of have, because as we said, and I swear this is the last point, but you know, you've got your intergalactic threats, you have to think, all right, aliens are real and shapeshifters are real and mutants are real, etc. But I mean, we already get people like that in real life, you know, not aliens and mutants and things, but you already get people in real life that are just dicks, so it's like, why would you want to put them in a cape? You're just like, no.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with this. If you're living in this world, you don't be threatened by having scary supervillains rocking up at your door. So I think having a really lame supervillain rock up is much better than having a big deal.
All I'm saying is, I don't want to be in my deathbed and then Thanos shows up and he's like, I unplug your mic every time. You were never recording the podcast. And I'll be like, oh, what are your final thoughts? See, just in general, living in the MCU, and this is something we always say at the end of these types of episodes, but would you give it a thumbs up? Would you say, yeah, I would love to live in the MCU, or...
No, I would not want to live in the MCU. I mean, it's too big of a threat. Like, the idea of half your loved ones being disappeared for several years at a time, that sounds horrifying. I mean, you don't know that they're going to come back. They might just be gone forever. That alone would be enough to make me say no to wanting to live in that world. But just generally, the constant danger you're in just wouldn't be fun. Because also, you're just a regular person, and you just get to kind of sometimes see superheroes about. Cool in a way, I guess, but not enough justification to want to have your life in peril that much.
No, I totally agree with you. And I feel as if this is where all these episodes end, where it's like, do you want to live in this world? No, 100% no.
Well, what did I say about the Zelda one? I feel like I might have said yes.
I think you said it depends on which one it is, because you've got the Wind Waker one, you've got the Twilight Princess one, so it kind of depends.
I would live in the Breath of the Wild universe. That'd be fun.
Well, good luck with the Guardians and everything.
Oh, I mean, you aren't carrying them that much.
Well, you only have to encounter one, to be honest.
That was a great playthrough.
That was a great playthrough. Patreon.com/Satsunami.
Watch out for goats.
So funny. But yeah, that is the thing though, because you do have variations with the comics and the MCU and just Marvel shows in general, where it's like Marvel is definitely a product of its time. It's a wee bit like Star Trek in that way, where it definitely reflects the society that made it, and it's all about superheroes that try to inspire others, that try to be better and everything. And you can see that with all the films, you know, whether that is the more grounded ones with the Fox X-Men one, or even Spider-Man with the Sam Raimi ones, where it's a lot lower stakes. So if it was like one or two superheroes running about, you would probably manage. But if we're taking into account the whole spectrum of Marvel, you know, where you've got, as I said, you've got the mutants, you've got witches and wizards, you've got aliens, you've just got everything to contend with. Whether it was the comics universe, whether it was the MCU, whether it was everything else. I agree with you. I think there's a lot that's very similar, because I think I said that ages ago where I said, we shouldn't do an episode on this because it would essentially be the same as living in our reality. But to be honest, yeah, I think there's just more chance of peril. As you said, especially with all the threats, it wouldn't be good for your mental health. Let's face it. The blip especially, that was a universal event. It wasn't just us that got affected. Even, I think it's Captain Marvel, doesn't she say that it affected other planets, that their populations have halved and everything. So even if it would be cool to see the galaxy and everything and see all of this, I mean, if you were an adventurous person, sure, go nuts. And I have to say, this isn't the worst universe that we've covered on Satsunami, because I think the worst one probably would be Warhammer 40k. That would be just like a top no for me, like a flat out no. Whereas this one, it's like no with a but. It is like, no, but if there were certain things, then it would be livable, I would say. But it's livable, but I wouldn't say it was ideal for me personally, and I'm assuming for you as well there. Yeah, it's a big fat no.
It's going to be a no from me, Satsu.
Unfortunately, we won't be moving to the Marvel world, we won't be moving to the Dragon Ball world, we won't be moving to the...
most of the Zelda worlds, 40k worlds, Pokemon maybe.
Sonic world as well.
See, I wasn't in that one, and I would move to the Pokemon world, because that'd be fun. But you're scared of giant bugs, so apparently no.
Giant bugs, have you seen the muscles in some of those bugs?
You give him a Champa fly swatter.
Oh yeah, I just batter him. Be gone!
You've also got Pikachu, who's just a bug zapper.
The particular Pokemon I'm thinking of, Buzzswole, I have seen him in the anime suck dry a Snorlax, and it's one of the most horrifying things I think I've ever seen in my life. It is vile. If you listen to that episode, I sent it to Adam live, and he was just like, oh my god, and I don't disagree with him. It's horrific. It's horrible. There's a lot in the Pokemon world where I'm like, I don't think I'd want to live there, but I think for all of them, bar definitely 40k's a no-go, but for a lot of them, it's like, yeah, I'd be interested to try it.
Maybe a week, maybe a holiday.
Maybe a city break, you know? I hear New York's nice this time of year.
I hear Vermilion City is nice.
Tell me about the Benaries. Just as you load the gun.
Jesus.
Not depressing though. No, in all seriousness, Andrew, thank you so much for joining me in this episode, and yeah, seeing what it would be like to live in the Marvel universe.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was a really fun chat about some of the implications of living in the Marvel universe. So yeah, I had a lot of fun.
It feels as if I've come away from this episode as different people. But no, jokes aside, yeah, thank you. Honestly, it's been such a blast. And yeah, if you want to listen to more episodes of Marvel Month, as well as more episodes in general from ourselves, then you can check us out at our website, chatsunami.com, as well as all good podcast apps. I also want to thank our amazing Pandalorian patrons, Robotic Battle Toaster, Ghostie, and Cryptic1991. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And we did joke about it earlier, but genuinely, if you would like access to our old Let's Play content, early access to episodes, exclusive episodes twice a month, we've got commentary tracks, we've got Andrew's superhero alias, you can check it out at patreon.com/chatsunami, where you can support us for as little as £1 a month. This podcast is a proud member of the Pop-Pack Collective. For more information, check us out our Twitter/X page at Pop-Pack Collect. But until next time, thank you all so much for listening. Stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly,
I am Green Shield. Bam, bam. I
thought you were just going to click your fingers and I just would have disappeared there. Oh no!